It's going to be difficult for me to concentrate on, but if you're a Calvinist, I think, let's see. So I want to look at the implications of the way this is written. So if you're a Calvinist, you're going to say, you have to look at this. It seems to me that some of these people who are being spoken about, are being talked about, you're going to read it as kind of, they were never saved, these people who are being led astray by the false prophets, and that God has reserved them from the very beginning to be that which they are. You know, he knows how to reserve the godly, and this is 2 Peter 2. And so if you're a Calvinist, you can read it through that way until you get to a certain point, I think. So it seems to me, if you believe in once saved, always saved, this only can work with a Calvinist understanding. But then there's a certain point you get to, and it's hard to make sense of. The part I mean is when it's talking about Lot, who is a righteous man dwelling among the wicked, who are reserved to be punished. And that's just what they are. They're brute beasts. So let me take off from there and show you what I mean. And delivered just Lot, vexed with filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knows how to deliver the godly, the reserved, the elect, you could say, from a Calvinist point of view, out of temptation, and he reserves the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed, they're not afraid to speak evil of dignities, whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord. But these, as natural brute beasts, condemned from the foundation of the world, as it were, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, is they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, whilst they feast with you. So they're false converts. They were never saved, you could say. They're false converts, feasting among you, having eyes full of adultery, they cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, a heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray. Now here's the issue with this. They've gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. How did they go astray? Because if you're a Calvinist, you're thinking, well, these were the reserved, the ungodly, that were vessels of wrath. They were never actual converts. They were never actual believers. But then, in what way have they gone astray? That sounds like they were born not astray. As in, to go astray, you could say, well, they never received Christ. And in that sense, they've gone astray. But that's not the context. They've forsaken the right way. That sounds like they're not totally depraved, at least from birth. But they've gone astray. Maybe they're not saved and never were saved. But if I wanted to suggest that everybody was totally depraved, I wouldn't say they gone astray in their unrighteousness. This flies in the face of total depravity and limited atonement, especially if you're going to exercise that idea through Romans 8 and say that they're vessels of wrath from the foundation before they were ever born, good or bad. No, you wouldn't say they've gone astray. You'd say they were astray, always were. But no, they have gone astray following the ways of Balaam. It's very suggestive that they chose a path and perhaps became hardened in their rebellion. And notice at the beginning of the chapter, false prophets also among the people, even as there were false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them. The Lord bought them. And one of the damnable heresies that they teach is denying that the Lord bought them. So I think this flies in the, I don't think you can uphold total depravity and limited atonement with this passage in the context of this passage. One of the heresies they're teaching that makes them the damnable heresy they're teaching is denying that the Lord bought them. That's the teaching. I mean, that should be scary if you believe in limited atonement. One of the damnable heresies, not limited to and up to even denying the Lord that bought them. They've gone astray. How is it that a totally depraved person who Christ didn't die for goes astray and teaches the damnable heresy that even the Lord who bought them, denying it? You cannot uphold limited atonement and total depravity in this teaching.